I'm not using my GPS to navigate the land of a thousand dances. I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio. World.
There is no secret why Downbeat Magazine calls this Seattle's most important annual jazz event. The 33rd Annual Earshot Jazz Festival hits Seattle stages October with one-of-a-kind live jazz performances and video live streams all the way through November 7th. This year's Earshot Jazz Festival features established masters like Diane Reeves, Tuco Valdez, B. Daniel, and red-hot young stars like Theo Croker, Emmanuel Wilkins, and Samara Joy, celebrating both Seattle's history and its future in the world of jazz. Earshot teams up with community partners like Langston, the Royal Room, and Rainier Avenue Radio to showcase Seattle's own resident artists. Tickets and more information are available online at earshot.org. That's earshot.org. Once again, Seattle's most important annual jazz event. I agree. Earshot Jazz Festival, hitting stages early October all the way through November 7th. Call for more information.
Hi, it's your favorite Rainier Avenue radio host from the Clean Greens Living Live show. It's Queen Bree
and Robin T.
Our show is live every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with topics ranging from life from the farm, health and wellness, and race and social justice.
We feature guests each week with expertise in activism, entrepreneurship, healing, and food justice.
So come join your girls live every Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Clean Greens Living Live show. You can even call in and be a part of the show. See you then.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio World. I'm Granville Emerson along with my partner, Ronald Pepe Bean. And we host the show Little Line Sports right here on Rainier Avenue Radio World, where we talk about football, basketball, local sports, national sports, Seahawks, UW, Seattle U Redhawks, Garfield Bulldogs, all that and more right here on Little Line Sports on Rainier Avenue Radio World.
High school football is back, but guess what? We need more referees. There's a constant need for qualified individuals to work our high school football game. Please consider becoming a football official. Go to pnfoa.com to sign up today. That's pnfoa.com to sign up today. This is a message brought to you by Rainier Avenue Radio World, your home for Metro High School football.
You know you can't get enough of Rainier Avenue Radio World.
Can't get enough of that. Can't get enough of that.
Thank you for tuning in today to your community radio station, Rainier Avenue Radio. Momentarily, we will be going live from Cafe Allegro for a special King County press conference with speeches to be had by King County Executive Dow Constantine and City of Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan, who will be outlining for you directly what are the official county vaccine verification processes that will be required for people to attend certain buildings and certain events. What exactly the county is asking for regarding vaccine verification processes. So stay tuned. As soon as the press conference begins, we'll take it to you live. But right now, enjoy some tunes, some jazz right here on your community radio station, Rainier Avenue Radio. We'll stay with you until the press conference begins. Good morning again. You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio, your community radio station, 11:05 a.m. Believes it sounds like the broadcast will be starting about 11:15 actually. So stay with us until then. We are, of course, are here on location for the King County press conference revealing the vaccine verification process. There will be speeches by King County Executive Dale Constantine and City of Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan. And all of that will be going live on location from Cafe Allegro. And, of course, you are listening to your community radio station, Rainier Avenue Radio. This Wednesday, check out the the Seattle City Council Position 9 debate between Nikita Oliver and Sarah Nelson. That is Wednesday at 7 p.m. And then on Saturday, our football regular season finale goes down at 4 p.m. as number 14 Seattle Prep takes on number 6 Rainier Beach. That goes down also at 4 p.m. That's on Saturday. For now, the press conference should be starting about 11:15 is what we're hearing. So we'll hold you there until then. So stay right here on your community radio station live with some more jazz music until the start of this press conference by the King County. 11:13 a.m. here in the Seattle CD from the Rainier Avenue Radio Studios. We are currently live awaiting the start of the King County press briefing on the official vaccine verification process, which should be starting about 11:15 here in 2 minutes. But you will be hearing some speeches by King County Executive Constantine and City of Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan, who will appear live from Cafe Allegro, and we'll be live on the scene. So you'll be able to see that press briefing in full. It's scheduled to begin at 11:15, but we will hold things down here on your community radio station, Rainier Avenue Radio, from our studios here in the Central District. Until then, we want to let you know that if you're getting ready for the elections, got a couple of big ones coming up for you on Wednesday at 7 p.m. You can check out the Seattle City Council debate between Nikita Oliver and Sarah Nelson, Wednesday at 7 p.m. And then if you are into high school football, this Saturday, the regular season finale goes down between number 14 Seattle Prep and number 6 Rainier Beach as the Metro League concludes their regular season live under the Southeast Athletic Complex lights at 4 p.m. this Saturday. Seattle Prep, Rainier Beach. Tune in then. For now, we're going to go back to the jazz music for just a little bit, and the press conference should start in just a few minutes. So stay tuned. Tell your friends. This is going to outline the official vaccine verification process if you're going to go to any events or anything of that. So let you be prepared for what they're going to ask for you at the door. Stay tuned on your community radio station, Rainier Avenue Radio. Good morning to you. We're live on Rainier Avenue Radio, your community radio station, 11:20 a.m. We have not received word that the King County press briefing has started just yet. We will take you live when it does go down, and you will find out at that time the county's official vaccine verification process. That will be starting momentarily on your community radio station, Rainier Avenue Radio. Speeches to be heard from King County Executive Dale Constantine and City of Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan, right from Cafe Allegro in the U District. And that going down in a couple of minutes here. Once we receive word that the press briefing has begun, we'll take you there live. So stay with us here on your community radio station, Rainier Avenue Radio. Until then, and thank you for tuning in.
Should be able to hear you here, right? On the phone. Okay. Well, I'm just waiting. Thank you. Thank you. You know where they're going to be standing? You know where they're going to be standing?
Probably right over here. Yeah. They're going to have cameras looking there. Sorry, can I? Yeah, thank you.
This will be fun.
Billy. Are you with him? Yeah. Bellamy.
I'm out of your shot if I'm doing this.
I just wanted to first say thanks to everybody for being here. We're at Cafe Allegro, the oldest continuously operating espresso shop, and actually kind of the first in the city of Seattle. This is a place where the mayor and I both in our college days spent a lot of time. and I'm so glad that it's still going so well. The vaccine verification mandate goes into effect next Monday. For most public gathering places, restaurants, bars, and other venues, you'll need to be able to show your proof of vaccine to be served. Much smaller venues have a little bit longer until December. But we came in today, we both used just a photo of our cards. You can also go on the state website, you can get a QR code. But this is our way of making sure that we can continue to have businesses functioning, employees and customers healthy, and keep our economy moving. Really glad to be here. And Mayor, do you have anything you want to add before we take questions?
Yeah, first I want to say again, I want to thank businesses like Allegro and others across the city and the county. We really followed their lead. We, of course, followed the public health data, but we heard very early on from business owners that their employees and customers wanted to feel safe. And so they wanted to know that people coming in were vaccinated. I can't tell you how many times the last several weeks I've been out more than I had been for the previous 20 months. And a number of employees pulled me aside to say, thank you so much. I feel safer coming to work. So this is about people feeling safe and being safe. It's, of course, foremost about really finally getting COVID behind us. We can't do it unless we get most people vaccinated. And really proud of the numbers here in Seattle and King County, one of the most vaccinated places in the country. So the question was about unvaccinated police officers. First, big picture, I am so proud of the employees of the city of Seattle. 99% have complied with our mandate to file proof of either vaccination status or getting an exemption. Only 1% have it. We've seen similar numbers in Seattle Fire Department, which has 99% have put in, over 90%, 91% are vaccinated, and 6% have exemptions. Seattle PD, similar numbers, 98% have complied and filed their forms. 91% of them are vaccinated. There's about 7% exemptions. Only about 24 officers have not put in their paperwork. They have until 11:59 tonight. I hope they do it because I really want each of the employees to know what we want as a city is we want to have our valued employees, but we need for public health for them to be vaccinated. So I'm not going to make any prejudgments until we see what the lay of the land is. If people make the choice that they don't want to keep their jobs because they don't want to be vaccinated, they will have that choice. I hope they don't make it.
But can you answer the question? If officers are unvaccinated as of 12:01 a.m. this morning, can they come to work tomorrow?
At 12:01, if they're not vaccinated, it depends on whether they're in the exemption process or whether they just haven't filled their paperwork. Everyone has to be vaccinated, but we will try to provide a last chance for every city employee who has not complied with this. Our goal here is not to lose employees. Our goal is to get everybody vaccinated.
So what is the process if they are in that process? What's the timeline?
So the timeline is, of course, we're going to assess. We had at the beginning of the weekend, hundreds had not put in their paperwork. Now it's down to really low numbers. And we believe that by midnight tonight, we'll have most people will assess where we are. And then I have to sit down with every department director to make sure that we have plans in place to address what their core services are. We have those plans and contingencies in place now. We're in much better shape than we thought we would be because so many people have done exactly what we've asked them to do. And, you know, since the beginning of this pandemic, we have done really hard things. We had to make decisions as leaders with the governor to shut businesses down, knowing that people would lose their jobs at the beginning of this pandemic, but also knowing that public health and safety demanded it. The same with this vaccine mandate. We know that it has been hard for some people, but we also know if we don't do this, we're never going to put COVID behind us.
What's the trigger for mobilization for? Mobilization for what's the trigger?
Say that again.
For mobilization for what would trigger that?
For mobilization
for the police department.
So we have a range of contingencies. We're going to see how many. Obviously, we're down to just a couple dozen who haven't put in their paperwork, and if the trend lines are the same, many of them have already been vaccinated and just haven't put it in. But Chief Diaz feels very secure, and I have Chief Scoggins here as well, that if someone calls 911, there will not be significant impacts on the response in either fire or police. So, they're both because some people haven't put in their paperwork yet.
Mayor Durkan, what about the school bus drivers?
So as you know, Seattle Public Schools is not under the city of Seattle. But we have been talking to Seattle Public Schools to see if there's anything that we can do. I know that the county executive is also, and Metro has been conferring with them to see if there's additional help that we can give there. We need to get kids to school. I don't know a parent in Seattle that wasn't happy that their kids could finally get back to school, not just for education, but for the social and emotional thing. So we want to make sure we do everything we can to support them in that work.
Okay, another question. What about fake ID, like the equivalent of fake ID, fake vaccine cards? How is that enforced?
So I think the first thing we have to get people to do is let's get everyone their vaccinations. Let's get them their card. And right now we are the most vaccinated city. So people are able to
I think you are. I know people who have fake vaccine cards.
We still know from records how many people have actually been vaccinated. We have a very high vaccination rate. You can't prevent people from doing bad acts 100%, but what we can do is incentivize people to do the right thing. And we've seen that in Seattle. Over 85% of the people are fully vaccinated in Seattle. We think that that's a really important step. King County is closing in on similar numbers, and that's what's going to keep us healthy and safe.
Last question,
Mayor, what,
Just a second.
what if a business chooses not to go through the verification process? How are you enforcing this?
I'm going to let the county executive.
Yeah, and that's actually a public health question. So what we're doing is we're focusing on education, on providing resources. If there are businesses or customers who are flagrantly and purposefully not complying, we obviously, public health has options. They can fine, they can ultimately pull a business license, but we do not, or a restaurant license, but we do not believe that's going to be necessary. We think this is about meeting the expectations of a public that is largely vaccinated, that wants to have a safe place to go, and we're going to support people in that.
Pretty soon, I can show a negative COVID test to get to a football game with 60,000 people in the city. You're not going to let your officers do a negative test to continue to serve citizens.
Every decision we've made throughout this, we've really grounded our decisions on public health safety and data. We know testing was the best we had before we had vaccines, but it wasn't effective. We tested correction officers, for example, but still had huge outbreaks in our jails and our facilities. We know that testing tells you if you have COVID, but once you test positive, you've probably already transmitted it. So the amount of people who get COVID from vaccination, as you know, is very small. You're significantly more likely. If we want to really constrain this, I think the people of Seattle, when they dial 911, they want to know the person who's responding to that emergency is fully vaccinated. And that's a job requirement. That's a job requirement.
People who are not vaccinated take a test to go into a football stadium with 60,000 people.
Again, we're talking about people who are first responders responding to emergencies for the people of Seattle. When a firefighter or a police officer goes to a front door to respond to emergencies, sometimes providing emergency care, the people of Seattle need to know that that person is fully vaccinated and least likely to transmit COVID to them or their loved ones.
Mayor, may I ask a question? Mayor,
That's right. Time for one more question.
Mayor, with all the people hearing on the news about the contingency plans for the police department, fire department, what do you want the citizens of Seattle to know when they get up in the morning tomorrow if they need to call 911? Are you confident they'll be safe here?
But we are going to be assessing, but right now, a lot of the prognostication that we have, hundreds of people would do it, hasn't turned out to be the case. Just like our city employees, our firefighters, and our police officers showing up every day, they're doing the hard thing. And we believe if people call 911, there will not be significant impacts on the front. The chief not address that. Sure. We're happy to. So, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, can you put in the middle a little bit so they can all kind of try to reach you? Thank you. People might be hearing on the news about concerns about how many firefighters, how many police officers. What's your reassurance to them about what's going to take place at 12:01 in the morning?
Sure, absolutely. So if someone calls 911 at 12:01 in the morning, our firefighters are going to be ready to respond just like they are right now. And the community can be confident of that our folks are going to be there. They're going to be going out the door. We're proud of our response times. Generally, we have a unit on scene 70% of the time in 5 minutes or less. If we lose a large number of people, that may fall a little bit, and that's for EMS calls. For fire calls, we're at a higher percentage than that. For ALS calls, 8 minutes or less, where we have to have a paramedic on scene, we're higher than 80%. So we may lose some folks, but we're confident that we're going to be able to get a unit out the door and respond to the community.
One of those folks that you lost is 16-year veteran Josh Gitt, diver and technical expert in terms of rescue. Talk about some of the talent you're losing.
Well, sure. I'm proud to lead the Seattle Fire Department. We have amazing people that serve the community each and every day. And they don't think about themselves when they do that. And that's important. So I'm proud of the work that we've done through COVID. I'm proud of the work that we do each and every day. Every day we respond to between 250 and 260 calls every single day. Our technical rescue team is one of the best in the nation. You're talking about one of our divers. We have a lot of technical teams. We have a hazmat team, fire boats. We have our dive rescues, our rescue swimmers. So I'm proud of all of our teams, and we have a lot of talented people of our 1,000 firefighters out there that continue to serve the community.
Where are you on the verification numbers?
We're at about 93% right now.
What kind of ID form do you have as somebody?
Well, anyone who submits their paperwork is going through the vaccination verification system, and we're checking the information.
Is 93% vaccinated or filed?
93% are vaccinated or close to being fully vaccinated.
And then what percent have filed paperwork for exemption and what percent actually received exemption?
Let's see, we have about 55 people that have filed paperwork for exemptions. And who's approved and who's not, I don't have that in front of me.
We got to get the mayor and exec on the road here, and the chief can answer more questions. And we also have Rachel Smith from the chamber, Dennis Worsham from public health.
Before we break, I just want, since we're all together, to have us join in congratulating Allison on your final story at Cairo. Congratulations. Well done. Well done.
Once again, walk through the numbers of where we are in terms of vaccinations and how important that is for the people of King County and Seattle.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, I'm Dennis Worsham. I'm the interim director for Public Health Seattle King County. And of course, our best tool in this getting out of COVID, this mess, is really around vaccinations. We are one of the most highly vaccinated cities and counties in the country. We're approaching 90%. Over 88% are fully vaccinated here in King County. We set a goal around our equity, is ensuring that every population would not be left behind by race, ethnicity, all over 70% where they're at. So we're very proud of the work that we've done as a public health agency with our city, with our county, and with a variety of folks who've stepped into that role. COVID is coming down. We have the Delta variant is very strong. It's our primary variant here in the community. We're coming down. The trends are down for hospitalization. Trends are down as a whole, but still too high in the community. We're still over 400 a day of new infections that are reported. And so we need to still protect people. And this policy, such as the vax verification within these restaurants and entertainment venues, are really critical, not only for the people who are patrons to go out and hit the businesses like they are, but also to the people who are working and employed in those particular environments. So we think those numbers will continue to come down. There's more vaccine information coming out all the time. Our 5 to 11-year-olds are soon going to be on the list, as well as boosters and those type of things. So we're very proud of our vaccine rates here in King County.
I know you're proud of the rates, but I'm still curious about this false, like if somebody presents a false ID in effect and they're caught, what is the penalty for that?
Yeah, well, let me first just kind of restate what was already said, is when you get a vaccine here in the state of Washington, your healthcare provider is required to log that vaccine. And that gets through the state system. So our number that we come up with, over 88% who are fully vaccinated, are those that are reported by healthcare providers into the state system. So we're sure of that number. When people go into these particular environments, as we have with all health policy, is we've really relied on the people being and the integrity of people showing up and doing the right thing. We haven't had enforcements around masks. We haven't had enforcements around a number of things. But Seattle, King County have stepped up as our residents have done the right thing in these particular environments. So I think it will be, again, the situation, people will step up and do the right thing. If there's egregious complaints, either from patrons or from businesses, we'll follow up with them. There'll be a way for them to complain, and we'll check in with them on those particular things. But it's going to be on an honor system. All right. Sure.
obligation to provide services to Husky games, Seahawks games.
Yes.
I guess we're not in baseball season anymore. Do you get the gist?
Okay.
On those days, you already have resources dedicated to that. How does the rest of the city know that if you're covering those things, that you've got enough when you're stretched thin?
Yeah, and it just depends on the number of folks that we have sign up to work those special events. So we have a number of different pathways that we sign people up to work all those different events, and we have a certain number of resources based on the population size at the stadiums. And if we fall short there, we'll move our pieces around on the big chessboard around the city to make sure the games have coverage, to make sure the city has coverage. Our goals are simple. We want to make sure we try to keep a resource in every district so we have someone going out the door. So if there's a medical emergency, someone's in route. If there's a fire emergency, that's generally a larger number of resources. They're still going to come. They just may be coming from other locations. So we'll continue to work through that. And I'm proud of our firefighters because they have been stepping up to work continuously over the last 20 months. But throughout my entire career, this is what firefighters do.
Chief, one of the concerns of brownouts already occurring. If you can clarify whether that's the case.
Sure.
That's in the future.
No, from time to time, we have a totally voluntary overtime sign-up system. Before COVID, during COVID, and after COVID. So if there's a weekend and we may not have enough resources, we have a system that we deploy and identify which units that we take out of service first. So we have a system that we deploy to do those things before COVID. We've used it during COVID, and I'm sure we're going to use it after COVID.
Chief, you just said that you're proud of the work your firefighters have done for the last 20 months. They've been on the front lines in a very real way.
Yeah.
Do you believe that for the last 20 months they've been out putting the public at risk?
I don't believe our firefighters have been out putting the public at risk because we've done an amazing job at our testing sites, our vaccination sites, running 911 calls. I mean, in September, we ran 7,900 calls. 4,200 were BLS related. Another 1,100 were ALS related. Fire alarms, fires into encampments, into buildings. Our goal is not to put the public at risk. Throughout the entire pandemic, we have had one transmission on a call from a patient to a firefighter. But other than that, we haven't. Inside our stations, which are congregate settings, we have had transmissions where our firefighters live together for 24 hours. And we have had over 400 of our firefighters placed in quarantine and isolation over the last 20 months for COVID. So it's not just the calls out in the field, it's inside of our station households.
So you said it was 20 months, one transmission to station to firefighter. Over in Spokane, one of the things they did is they took all the unvaccinated firefighters, rounded them up, and assigned them to a single station. Why not consider doing something like that to keep them in service? The risk is firefighter to firefighter.
Well, I don't know how that plan would work. I would need probably a few more details, but if those firefighters are going out the door and responding to community members after the mayor's directive and the governor's proclamation, if there is a transmission from a whole crew of unvaccinated firefighters, well, I think there's risk involved there.
You just said there's been one transmission in 20 months.
Yes.
And that you don't think the firefighters who have been the last 20 months have been putting anybody at risk. So
Right.
why would that suddenly change? Because there's now a vaccine available.
Well, the rules change tomorrow. And, we're trying to come into compliance with the mayor's directive and the governor's proclamation. So our goal is not to put the community at risk. Our goal is also not to put each other at risk.
What's the atmosphere like between the firefighters? Do you think, are there people kind of trying to convince each other to go ahead and get the vaccine who haven't yet? I mean, it's particularly describing what you did about them getting it from working together. Yeah. Have you seen uptake as a result?
Well, we have. We've seen over the last couple of weeks, a number of firefighters have either submitted their paperwork or started the vaccination process. It's a really hard time, not just for the fire service, but for everyone. So our firefighters are working hard. I mean, some of these firefighters have been working together for 5, 10, 20, 30 years. That's really long relationships in this profession. So this is a hard time for all. One of the things that I continue to do is ask our firefighters, continue to consult your medical care providers, continue to talk with your families, and hopefully there's an opportunity to get someone into the process of getting vaccinated. We're just trying to work with the rules that are laid out in front of us and maintain compliance for the Seattle Fire Department.
Do you agree with the minority that at 92%?
Well, we'll work with what we have tomorrow, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to have firefighters to get out on the street and respond to emergencies and go to vehicle accidents and do rescues. So I have a high level of confidence that we're going to be able to deploy tomorrow.
And what happens tomorrow for the firefighters who aren't vaccinated?
They won't be able to come to the fire stations and work in operations as they do today.
And is there going to be any sort of
Well, if a firefighter chooses to get into the vaccination process that's not vaccinated, we're going to work with those firefighters to get them fully vaccinated so they can continue to, do this profession that we all love so much. It's hard to say right now. We're looking at probably between possibly 60 or 80, but I'm sure things have changed since I've been here this morning. Oh no, all over the city. And some are in administrative assignments, most are in operations, but all over the city. How many unvaccinated are firefighters? The majority.
Chief, do you think firefighters could continue to do their job safely if there were testing options?
Well, I don't know. We're following the guidance from our medical director and from Seattle-King County Public Health. And, we've been informed that testing is detection. It's not prevention. We've had experiences where firefighters have had a COVID test the day before and been notified while they're on duty that it's positive. And we've had to take a lot of resources out of service when those things happen. So, I know that's been a part of the conversations, but it's not one of ours. Have resigned or retired? I don't have those exact numbers right now, but in the coming weeks, I'm sure we will have, because tonight's the deadline. So that's what's hard to say.
No doubt you have talented folks in the department, lots to fill in those gaps. When someone who does have that tenure and that skill leads the department, what's that feel like?
What hurts? We have a lot of amazing people all over the organization, whether they respond to emergencies or do building inspections or work in our professional staff in our administrative offices. We have a lot of talented people in the Seattle Fire Department. We don't want to lose anyone. So we hope everyone would make the choice to get vaccinated.
Thank you.
All right? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, Mr. Fellows, that has been the vaccine will go into place next week on October 25th, the mandate, vaccine verification. And we will now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.